Do you know what a Chevy Blazer actually costs per month? The Chevy Blazer was introduced in 2019 as a segue into the full-size two-row SUV market. It competes mainly with the Ford Edge and the Jeep Grand Cherokee. In 2020, we sold nearly 100,000 units, which is making big impacts on those two vehicles I just mentioned. But what do these things cost you per month? So as you saw, it's way too cold outside, so we're moving into the whiteboard to go over every single one of these trim levels of the Chevy Blazer. I'm gonna go over all 6 trim levels as you see here on the screen, along with what you get when you move to each trim level, and then most importantly, we're gonna talk about the payments. And this is how the payments are gonna be figured. We're gonna talk about the MSRP on that trim level. We're gonna talk about the typical dealer discount, which every one of these are gonna be sold at invoice. We're going to talk about the traditional manufacturer rebates that we see throughout the year. We're going to use 6% sales tax because that's a good round number. Yes, California, you're closer to 10. Oregon, New Hampshire, 0. We get it, so you can adjust accordingly based off of where you live and where you're going to title the vehicle. And then we're going to do miscellaneous fees of $427. Again, kind of a middle of number. You can adjust with that accordingly as well. And then we're going to have the out the door numbers. And then we'll talk about payments. All right, we're gonna start with the base model of the L series for the Blazer. Yes, it's $29,995 base price, and you can already see that there is 0 discounts and 0 rebates from the manufacturer. This vehicle is made for one purpose, and that's why Chevy can sit there in all their commercials and say starting at $29,995. They don't discount this in any way, shape, or form, and there's only $29 markup from MSRP to what the dealership pays, so never expect it. So at $17.99 in sales tax, $427 in fees, you're at $32,221. So what would be a 60 and 72 month payment? And I'm using 4% on all of these numbers for 60 and 72, and I'll tell you that 4% is really aggressive on 72, but I want to show you the least possible payment. The average new car payment, the new vehicle payment that people pay today is $554 per month. The average used car payment that people pay is $397 per month. So for that 60 months on this vehicle is $597. 72 months on this vehicle is $504. We're gonna move to the next one, and this is the 1LT. The 1LT comes with one engine, the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, and these features right here as well. The MSRP on a 1LT is $33,495. To get to invoice, it's $995. The rebates right now are currently $27.50, so a total price of $29,750. And if you've already caught on, yes, that's cheaper than the L series car that we just talked about. $17.85 tax, $427 fees. $31,962 is your bottom line. So on that 60 and 72 months payments, you're $589 on 60 months, and you're at about an even $500 on 72. The next one, we're moving to the 2LT trim level. Now, this one gets a little tricky because there is 2 engines now available in this one, and it's not the 2.5 of the last 2 cars. You have the 2.0 liter engine and the 3.6 liter engine. The 2.0 liter engine starts at $34,295, and the 3.6, which is probably the better engine to have in these, is $34,795. So that's what we're gonna focus on, the $34,795 3.6 liter engine. Discount from the dealership down to invoice is $895. Yes, this is a little bit less than the last one, but I looked at 3 or 4 of these and they all had the same discount. I don't know why this one has less than the other ones, but it is what it is. $27.50 in rebates. You got your sales tax, tag, title, license at $33,466 on this one. So what do you think this is going to be? On 60 months, you're $616 and you are $524 on 72 months. And on to the 3LT. The 3LT gives you these available options when you move to it. And just like the 2LT, you have the 2.0 liter and the 3.6 liter V6 engine. And the V6 starts at $38,995. The 2.0 is just a few dollars less. $11.94 discount down to invoice, $27.50 in rebates, $37,581 after taxes and fees. So that 60-month payment, yes, you are at $692 and $588 And now onto my favorite trim level of the Blazer, and that is the RS version. This is by far the coolest looking one with the red trim on the interior, the two-tone paint on the exterior. Absolutely love this trim level. And the RS only comes with one engine at the 3.6 liter V6. It starts at $41,995. Your discount is $959. Again, just like one of those other ones, I don't know what GM's doing. I pulled a couple different invoices and they were all the same price on the base MSRP. So $27.50 in rebates. You have your sales tax and fees. $41,010 is the total out the door on a base RS. And this payment would be $755, and you have a $642 payment on 72 months. But don't go anywhere, because this is the base price. Very few of them out here with the base price. They're all a whole lot more. And we're now onto the top trim level, the Premier model. Again, just like a couple other trim levels, we have two engines available in these, the 2.0 and the 3.6. And this is what you get when you move to the Premier model. The Premier model is $44,195 base MSRP. You have a $1330 down to invoice, $2750 rebates, $42,948 is your out the door number. So that payment on 60 months, you're a whopping $791 and a $672 on 72. All right, so let's talk about lease. I always love to throw lease in there. I'm a big lease fan. I know Dave Ramsey tells you not to fleece, but Dave Ramsey's not always right. And Dave Ramsey also tells you not to buy new cars, but he buys new cars. So let's talk about lease. We're gonna do a 1LT lease. This is a $35,660 MSRP car. So do you remember what I told you on what a payment would be on a 1LT? On that 60 and 72 months payments, you're $589 on 60 months, and you're at about an even $500 on 72. So on that lease, over the purchase, you're gonna have 12,000 miles per year. We're gonna put $500 down because that's typically your first payment and some taxes and stuff like that. So on a 1LT lease, you're talking a $377 payment. A $377 payment on a $35,000 car. Now, the great thing that I love about lease is you know exactly what this car is going to cost you over the time of 3 years. I like to call it a swag, a scientific wild ass guess of what the residual is going to be. We don't know in 3 years what this car is going to be worth. So you know that with your $500 down, your total cost of this car is $14,072 plus your taxes and fees. Now, you only pay sales tax on this. So this has no sales tax in it whatsoever. You only pay sales tax on your payment and not $35,000. So let's talk about that RS. I went all the way up to almost a $49,000 RS with $500 down. You're looking at $480 per month. Do you remember what I told you the RS was gonna be per month? Payment would be $755, and you have a $642 payment on 72 months. So that $488 is plus taxes and fees, and then you're looking at a total of $17,780 over the entire 3 years of borrowing this car. So let's talk about that thumbnail. So I put in the thumbnail a huge payment. Huge payment. So RS is my favorite trim level. It's probably the most common one sold outside of maybe the 1LT. So I went out and I found an RS of $51,665. Now, you maybe think, Mike, you're just kind of going overboard. I'm not going overboard. I know I showed you a base MSRP RS, but a typical RS price is going to be around the $45,000 to $47,000 range. You go all-wheel drive, you go $51,665. With your sales tax, title, and license, you're coming in at $50,269. So on that 72 months, you're looking at $791, and just like I put in the thumbnail, we have a $931 payment on an RS all-wheel drive. Now, this is very important to understand because it doesn't matter what vehicle we look at. If we look at a base car, if we look at a middle of the road car, if we end at $50,569 on price, this is exactly where you're going to be on your payment. If you have negative equity, if you have not so great credit that you can't qualify for 4% that I'm using in these, all of these have a big factor into your payment. So you can see there's a whole lot that goes into car payments, but there's so much more information in this video series up here, and that video right there will help you from getting scammed. And of course, just join my Discord server and we can talk about it.